Welcome to the League of Women Voters Candidates Forum tonight for the position of Mayor of Ferrysburg. And it's right at 6:30, and just so you know, this is new technology. We're being live streamed, I believe that's the right term. You know I'm not very techy. So anyway, I'd like to welcome you tonight. It is the League of Women Voters of the Grand Haven area that is sponsoring tonight. And my name is Gail Ringelberg, and I am your moderator for tonight. The Voter Service Committee of our league encourages political responsibility to informed and active participation of citizens in their government. We believe that an active, aware citizen is essential to a responsive and healthy community. The league is national in scope. We are a volunteer, nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. We never support a particular candidate or political party. We are open to all voting-age citizens. Your membership will help you become informed and involved in the governmental process. Your financial support will enable us to publish facts and inform citizens. If you want to join or want to know more information about the league, most of us have on these little name tags tonight. Find somebody and come talk to us. On Tuesday, August the 5th, in the primary, you will be asked to vote on one of 3 candidates running for Ferrysburg mayor. The 2 candidates receiving the most votes will go on to the general election in November. There is no early voting for the primary, but absentee ballots may be picked up at the Ferrysburg City Hall. So we are pleased to present the candidates for the office of Mayor of Ferrysburg in an alphabetical order. They are Richard Carlson, Tim O'Donnell, and Jerry Sias. The format for tonight starts with each candidate having 2 minutes to make an opening statement. Then questions from me, the moderator, will be posed to each candidate on a rotating basis. The candidates have not seen these questions, and each will have the opportunity to respond to each question. They drew numbers before the start of the forum to determine the order in which the questions will be asked. Thus, their seating arrangements, as you see above in front of you. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to answer each question. Our timekeepers tonight are Nancy and O'Neill and Joyce Coffin, and they will hold up a 1-minute warning sign and then a stop sign at the 2-minute mark. Candidates will complete the sentence they are speaking, but then stop. Following the prepared questions, there will be some time to take audience questions that pertain to issues. All candidates will answer these questions using the same format of rotation as in the prepared questions. If you have an issues-related question you would like to ask all 3 candidates, please write it on the cards provided, and we can walk around. If you raise your hand, we can give you a card, 3 by 5. We will collect the cards, and we may combine questions if they are regarding the same topic, and we may rewrite questions to keep a question neutral. If your question is not asked due to time constraints, please feel free to ask the candidates at their tables following the forum. At the conclusion of this public questioning time, candidates will have up to 2 minutes to make closing statements. Then we encourage you to stay after the period and visit candidates at the tables. They each have a table that they can use at their disposal. If they brought materials, they put them on the table. If not, just go visit and ask your questions. A couple of housekeeping rules. Please silence your cell phones, which includes me, and please listen politely to all candidates as they answer their questions. Let me get my phone. So see, I'm leading by example here, you know. There, now it's silent. Okay. And so then I would like to introduce the candidates to you in the order in which they will speak. Tim O'Donnell, Jerry Sias, and Richard Carlson. So with that, we will start with opening statements. And Tim, you get to go first.
Okay, there we go. Thank you for the invitation to come tonight and speak for the League of Women Voters. I do like to come out and meet people and get ideas and do what I can do to serve the public. This is nothing new to me. I was on the city council for 8 years. 2 of those as council member and 6 of those as the mayor pro tem. So, and then I also run for office a couple other times. And the last, my entire adult life, public service has been my life's goal. Just as one of the areas that I felt I could serve in, and I'm dying again. Okay. Do I need to start over?
No, Andrew did the first part. But
Okay.
Andrew? Yeah.
But again, I think this is the first mayoral forum, and that Ferrysburg has had, and kind of historical. So I'm not going to use the rest of my 2 minutes. So plenty of questions. I'm more than willing to talk to you afterwards. I do have some literature in back there. What it is questions that I've been asked in the past. I have them written down, so you don't have to necessarily write down the answers. They're free for the taking.
Hello, everybody. I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out tonight and to the League of Women Voters for putting on this fine event. My name is Jerry Sias. I was born in Grand Haven. I was raised in Ferrysburg. I graduated Grand Haven High School in 1990. After high school, I needed a little more direction, so I decided the Army would be a good choice for me. I served 8 years in the United States Army. I'm a decorated veteran of Operation Desert Storm. After the military, while in the military, I learned and come to learn to understand the meaning of dignity, honor, integrity, and accountability. And I strive to reach those guidelines every day of my life. After the military, I wanted not just a job, but I wanted a career, something I could go anywhere in the country and find a job. And school wasn't really a good fit for me, but the trades were. So I went into electrical trade. I attended school at MCC and GRCC in their journeyman electrical program. And after I received my journeyman's license, I went on to receive my master's license. Once I received my master's license, I started my own electrical company. I operated my company for about 4 years, and then I was in a car accident, which left me crippled, and I was forced to retire, unfortunately. So I'm here today because after my accident, I was shown from a lot of caring people what it means to give back to the community and what it means to give and to nurture and to care about other people. And I wanted to give some of that back, and that's why I decided to run for mayor. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Richard Carlson, and I've been in Ferrysburg for 12 years. I'm a native of Petoskey, and my wife and I married, and I moved down to Ferrysburg 12 years ago. About 4 years after we moved into the neighborhood and we lived up behind Lepnick's, City Council was entertaining the idea of selling the Ferrysburg Nature Preserve, and that really drove me into city politics. I wasn't driven to be into politics before. Up north, I had served on school board for a number of years, but city government is a lot different. 6 years on city council, and then I decided to run for mayor because there was an opportunity to lead, and the city is looking for good, effective leadership. And it's been extremely enjoyable representing the city of Ferrysburg. We've got a lot of good things going on. Operating with an annual budget that the city council just approved, a little over $8 million a year is what we're spending. And city staff has done a fantastic job with running an extremely tight budget. We're very goal-oriented, and I'm very proud of how city council is doing and how the city is operating. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I thought it says it's on, but I don't hear it. You hear me?
Yeah.
You hear me? Oh, you do hear me. Okay, okay.
Not in the microphone.
Not in the mic. Hello. I can shout. Okay. So, Jerry, you're gonna get the first question because the first question was your introductions. So I'm gonna pose it to you, it'll go to Richard and then back down to Tim, okay? So that'll be the order in how we'll answer the question. So here's the question. And you have each of you will have 2 minutes to answer each question. Ferrysburg adopted a revised master plan. What elements in it are most important to you, why, and how you would like to see them implemented? All that in 2 minutes.
Thank you. Yeah, to understand the master plan is to understand the forward thinking of Ferrysburg. And I think what Ferrysburg needs to direct their attention towards is developing a downtown district. I really believe that we have an opportunity, and I believe that Ferrysburg is primed for redevelopment along the 104 and Pine Street corridors. A lot of the buildings in that area have outlived their usefulness and are in need of new development. As long as we can push together and get over this hump together as a city and agree on where we need to go in the future. And I think that's the most important thing that we're looking for in our master plan, is just moving into the future and where it's going to bring us.
Are you ready for me?
I'm ready.
Okay, very good. Master plan is required under state statute to be updated every 5 years. We were reaching the end of our 5-year period, and I had asked Roger Jonas, who was chair of the Planning Commission, to continue to serve so we could get it finished up by this past December. Master plan, of course, is the roadmap that provides us for long-term planning. 10, 20, 30 years down the road, we can affect things through zoning and through community investment in terms of where we're going to be spending tax dollars to help the citizens with our long-range plans to make them come to fruition. One of the things that we did when we were developing the master plan is we had a number of citizen gatherings where you could come and voice your opinions as to what you'd like to see happen with your city. And there were a few key points that were identified. Number one was what Councilman Sias just mentioned, which was the development in downtown along Pine Street. And that's something that planning is looking at in terms of what we can do there, and we can get into that a little bit later. The other thing was how to take care of the house. What can we do to help housing in our community? There's an acute housing situation throughout Ottawa County that needs to be addressed, and there are certain things that we've done in Ferrysburg where we're really the outlier, the ones doing things first. Chairman of the Planning Commission, Gary Post, and I recently met with the Office of Strategic Development in the county, and we're looking at what can we do to change zoning for small footprint homes and that type of thing to help make our master plan come alive. She's ready. There you go. Thank you.
Well, it sounds like we're pretty much agreed on some of the goals we want for the master plan. The downtown development is very important because our median age in our city is 55 plus, which means our tax base is be more and more reliant on retirement income as the years go by. So we need to plan for the future. We need to look to the future, plan for it, save for it. And as a council member, I was also attended the Michigan Municipal League conferences and was able to get some very good ideas from them on how to develop the downtown areas and old, dilapidated, out-of-date regions of the cities. And I'd like to take some of those ideas that I got. I'd like to, I've got a lot of resources still. People contact me, and I stay in contact with them to get some ideas on how to develop our downtown area, which would help our tax increase, our tax base, and basically go along with our master plan and plan for the future. Keep looking ahead, plan.
Thank you. All right, it's gonna go all the way down to Richard. All right, Michelle again. So, it'll go you, then it'll come down here. Okay, got it? Okay. Next question. Since the Chamber of Commerce no longer has an economic development director, who Ferrysburg contracted with to provide services, as mayor, going forward, how would you have Ferrysburg conduct economic development?
Well, the city just completed an economic development assessment through we had a group of volunteers within the city working with the Chamber of Commerce to develop what can we do commercially, what can we do, what kind of businesses can we get into Ferrysburg? As we all know, we don't have much of a downtown. Do we want to have a downtown? Do you want to have something that looks like downtown Spring Lake or something downtown Holland? I don't know if that's what we're going to have in Ferrysburg. The little lakeshore town hidden in the dunes, which is more of a bedroom community, a resort community. The Chamber lost their economic development director, primarily because the city of Grand Haven is stopping to fund that. They are not going to fund their end of it. And that's kind of left the Chamber and the rest of the municipalities in a lurch. We've got it was just presented to us, what was it, Jerry, 2 meetings ago? About the Chamber. I think it was just a meeting. Mark was supposed to come last Monday, and he wasn't able to make it. They're trying to come up with a stopgap measure. The city isn't sure if that's going to be enough for what we want to do to propel our master plan forward and our economic development plan forward. So it's a work in progress right now. We'll see.
Thank you. Yep,
Okay, I think one of the things that should be done is the reestablishment of the Economic Development Committee. It is the heart of any development of our city. The Planning Commission can't do it all. The City Council can't do it all. But if you give this to an Economic Development Committee, it would be run just like all the other committees. There doesn't necessarily have to be any funding. It just needs people that are willing to look at the specific development of our community. Do we need a downtown? I don't think we need a downtown, but we do need something that's going to bring in money to our community. Most of the successful, again, going back to Michigan Municipal League, and the successful communities were communities that had an economic development committee and involving citizens from throughout, like the master plan, the city coming in with ideas and having professionals from different areas coming in. And I'll tell you, you should see, if you want to look at some really fantastic stuff, go to Michigan Municipal League and look at their development program. They've done some really wonderful stuff. I think we can have that here.
Okay, I'll skip them to Jerry.
Thank you. Definitely, we need to expand our economic development, but we need to do it responsibly. Ferrysburg is a unique community where a lot of the residents appreciate the neighborhoods and the bedroom type community. And a lot of residents would like to see more shops and more businesses and more amenities in our city. So we're kind of divided. So we really need to look at the corridor of Pine Street and 104 because that doesn't interfere with any of our neighborhoods. That we have a direct intersection from 104 to 31 there, and we have easy access on and off the highway. So we need to make the city understand that we are looking to develop, but not in a spot that will involve them. As far as economic development in the Chamber of Commerce, we still have a representative on the Chamber of Commerce. Just because there was one resignation doesn't mean that we don't have any support from the Chamber. We still do. But we need to reestablish our economic development board that works directly with the brownfield and can work with the Chamber of Commerce to make sure that Ferrysburg and its citizens have a seat at the table when we're talking about development. Because like I said, there's a lot of divided opinions on where we should go as a city. So we need to make sure that we're responsible and that we do the city due diligence in our development. That's all.
All right, thank you. Keep hoping this place, something's gonna happen. All right, moving to the next question. If anybody, and I forgot to mention this at the beginning, if between candidates you need the question asked again, please just ask it and repeat it. So the next question, and Tim, we'll start with you. And this is a two-part question, so you can either answer both or one of the parts, okay? In the current Ferrysburg budget, there are several budget funding shortfall items being discussed by the current council. How would you address the shortfall in funding for motorized vehicles and equipment? 2, the street millage will expire in 2026, which will be under your tenure. How do you propose meeting the street maintenance costs in the future?
Okay, those are probably the two toughest issues that, and I get to start first.
Yeah.
I love going first. Actually, we'll start with the first one, the shortfalls with the motorized vehicle.
Okay.
I happen to know that because I am a veteran of the Ferrysburg Fire Department, and that does directly affect the department. And it actually affects every resident in the city. We have the fire equipment we've got. It's fantastic. The city is great with the deliveries system. However, our oldest engine is now almost 27 years old. Runs great. I love it. It's my favorite engine. But eventually it's going to need to be replaced. And right now, a basic engine with just the basic equipment, you're looking at $750,000 just for the basic engine. Right now, the city can't afford that. Either a special millage request. I don't like asking for more money. Donations. If anybody has $500,000 they want to donate, take it. But the only way we're going to get more money is to go with asking for more money. And I don't like doing that, but if you want to maintain the service we have, it's a reality. The street budget, there's stuff that we can look at, again, plan for the future, maybe redirect some of the funds, start.
You got caught. Okay, you finish the sentence.
Oh, okay. Start with smaller projects, get those over with, and then just roll those over into the larger projects.
Yeah, thank you. Budget shortfall. Boy, right now our budget's in pretty good shape. But what worries me is the aging infrastructure that we have in our city. I mean, one major lip pump improvement or a water main break, and we could be in dire straits as far as our budget is concerned. We seem to be able to right now take monies from one fund and transfer them into another fund if something urgent comes about. And that's how we've been dealing with infrastructure and maintenance issues in the past. But that needs to change. We need a forward-thinking leadership that is willing to talk the difficult subject of maybe rolling back the Headley Amendment, because every year the Headley Amendment rolls back 1% on our taxes. We need to possibly think about ways to bring in external money to the city through committees, through the Parks Commission. Creating a arts council would be one way to bring in external money to our city. Right now, our budget's not a big issue, but I am concerned about the future. I'm concerned 10, 15 years down the road when all of our employees and their pensions come due and all of our infrastructure is older and all of our equipment is older. So we really need to be forward thinking and think of ways to bring in external money to the city.
Got the question again, please.
Yes, the question is a two-part question. It's addressing the budget shortfalls that are being discussed now. One is, how would you address the shortfall in funding for motorized vehicles and equipment? Two, the street millage will expire in 2026, which will be under your tenure. How do you propose meeting street maintenance costs in the future?
Okay.
You can answer one or both.
Very good. First, let's talk about the city budget. City budget, as I stated earlier, is about $8 million. All the fund balances are on an uptick and have been for quite a while, which is a good thing. You don't want to see fund balances going down. You want to see fund balances increasing. Sewer and water catastrophes, we're fine for that. It's the long-term maintenance on streets that are killing us. They're killing cities all over the place, along with the Headley Amendment, which limits the amount of property tax that we can assess. The other thing that we have is the motor pool fund for truck replacement, which includes fire department equipment. We've got some fairly large expenses coming up, like a fire truck for $750,000. That's things that we can plan for. One of my main goals, my first 2 years in office, I really ran on accountability and being transparent in our operations, and I think we've done a pretty effective job in that. The second part of why I'm running for this next 2 years is we've got to get somehow the long-term situation, get motor pool passed, a millage, and also something for street construction, because our infrastructure is falling apart in so many areas. There's only so much campaigning the city can do to get something like that passed. It takes something to involve the citizens. The citizens have to get involved to get that passed. Citizens have supported millages in the past. We're hopeful that they will be supportive of road millage and equipment millage as well. That's the plan.
Okay. So then the next question, and you've already passed the mic. Many communities have developed plans that limit short-term rental permits in certain areas or concentrates them in other areas. Do you think the topic of short-term rentals is an issue in Ferrysburg? Why or why not?
Yes and no. In Ferrysburg, we do have limits on our short-term rentals, and I don't see them posing a real threat to housing. Although, as we all know, short-term rentals cause problems when it comes to affordable housing. Short-term rentals take up a lot of rental properties that used to be occupied by families that are now just occupied by short-term renters. So that is a problem. So we do need to look at better ways to create affordable housing in Ferrysburg. One of the ways we need to do that, one way to do that is, again, to reenact the Economic Development Board, work closely with the Brownfield Committee, and reach out to developers with tax incentives or maybe property incentives to build in Ferrysburg. We need to look at creating accessory dwelling units. Those are small homes that people can put in their yards and rent them out to the public. That's a way to create affordable living. We need to look at tiny homes. I don't like the idea of tiny homes that aren't on foundations. I don't think we need tiny homes on trailers, but we need to look at rezoning some areas to allow for tiny homes. Other than that, I have no problem with short-term rentals in Ferrysburg. I do not think they really pose a problem at this time. I think they're well controlled.
Here we are once again talking about short-term rentals. Seems like every other meeting I go to, there's people complaining about it. There's very few people coming and saying good things about it. We have almost 100 short-term rental units in Ferrysburg, and most of them are over by the Reef Party store, it seems, and some of them are troublesome. We've got plenty of ordinances already on the books. We don't need any more ordinances for short-term rentals. We have an enforcement issue. The enforcement is the problem when it comes to short-term rentals. And one of the things that we've done with City Council is we recently approved software that will go in and try to capture and catch people that are renting shorter than the week period that we'd like to see now. That's one of the things we're doing. So that instead of being the enforcement being you as a neighbor complaining to City Hall about something, we're going to be using that complaint method, but we're also going to be utilizing software that's analyzing where all these listings are and when they're being rented, and being able to audit the people that own these Airbnbs. So it's a work in progress. I don't believe it's an ordinance problem. I believe it's more of an enforcement problem. One of the things as well that we've done is in the proposed budget, city budget for next year, is we're looking at potentially bringing in an assistant for the city manager. And that is somebody that could potentially help with enforcement and some of our other long-term projects that we've been working on. So it's a work in progress.
When I was on the city council, this was a very, very tense, very long discussed issue. And one of the things that I did when I was on council is I went to Lansing, represented the city of Ferrysburg on multiple committees that were discussing issues that affected our city directly. And that's another thing that has been lacking, and I would really like to see implemented again, is our representation in Lansing for our city as a whole. Short-term development, I agree with Mayor Carlson. It isn't necessary ordinances. We don't need more ordinances. We have plenty of those. It is the enforcement of the ordinances. And I think the other, if they get the enforcement, the other issues that are with it will go away.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we're actually going to go to some public questions that have been posed. And you guys have been really, really efficient in your answers. So we can ask several questions. So with that, I'm going to start with Richard.
Oh, joy.
Yeah, we're doing the same rotation, okay? And since we all hear about it every day on the news very much, it would be interesting, I think, for the residents to hear what place does national partisan politics play on local government? How is Ferrysburg impacted?
I'm glad you're first.
Or how do you think it's impacted by the partisan politics going on at the state level and at the national? I think we need to include the state in that one.
I've always been a big fan of politics, and I watch it like a hawk. And since I've been involved in city politics, there's so much going on in the city that I really haven't paid that much attention nationally or internationally. Luckily, city politics here in Ferrysburg are nonpartisan, and that's a wonderful thing. It's a great thing to be nonpartisan, so that we're not pulling at each other from a political standpoint, because I'm a Democrat, you're a Republican, or vice versa. And that can really inflame things and create some walls. So I don't believe it plays that much of a factor. My primary fear with national politics and state politics is Smith's Bridge. Okay? The other thing that I'm fearful of is the government overreach with this PFAS that's screwing up transportation in the river. That's a huge concern as well, where the state is clamping down on PFAS contamination and where you can put it. And we just had a meeting with the Corps of Engineers last week, and they've approved dredging in the upper harbor, which is in front of Verglanks. The lower harbor is out by the river mouth. And so the upper harbor is being able to be dredged. But there's almost 200,000 cubic yards of material. That's a lot of material. The state approved 20,000 yards. Okay? That's going to be able to allow the boats to draw another 1.5 feet deeper. But last year we had 2 groundings. We don't want to have more groundings, and we want to keep the freight going and keep the trucks flowing through Ferrysburg.
That's it, Tim.
Unfortunately, things flow downhill, and we are affected by the national politics. We're affected by state politics, and I think that's one of the reasons we have to, without a doubt, get representation for our city in the state, in Lansing. We have representatives, we have senators, but that's for the people. We need somebody that can speak up for the issues that involve the cities. One of those was the short-term rentals. Without active local intervention at the state level, right now we'd be taking orders from the state on what to do with our short-term rentals. Up until just a few weeks ago, very few people know this, but the state had a law on the books that could have come in, and energy could have come in and turned Ferrysburg Nature Preserve into a wind farm or a solar panel community. And we could not say anything about it. Fortunately, there was the Republican legislatures intervened and got that changed. There's stuff going on that we need to keep aware of and keep involved with the state, saying yes, no. I was on the Transportation Infrastructure Committee in Lansing, representing the city, and we said no. The little city said no. We spoke as one voice, and they listened to us on a lot of issues. We saved the city a lot of money. Thank you.
Thank you. Luckily, Ferrysburg and City Council is nonpartisan, so we have the luck to do the business of the people, not the business of the party. And that frees us up a lot on City Council. I think for the most part, we get along and we do the business of the people. There has been some dysfunction in the past, and there may be some disgruntled citizens out there that feel differently than me. But I do feel, for the most part, we get along. And we allow people to voice their opinions. I believe that we are open to the public. We are open to the citizens to come to the table and let us know what they're thinking. And we're always open-minded, and we're always in an understanding way trying to reach out to the community. So I don't think that partisan politics plays a big role in Ferrysburg. We are a small community, and partisan politics just has no role in our politics.
All right. Thank you. So the next one will go to Tim. Housing, and it was mentioned earlier, housing was a topic in the new master plan. How would you encourage both increasing the housing supply and having affordable housing within your borders? It's kind of a how. What do you, have you got personal thoughts on what you would do to support that?
Unfortunately, in the city of Ferrysburg, there's a whole lot of places to build. Most of the available land is either city-owned or it's privately owned. So actually going out and looking to build is a problem. And it's something that is definitely a problem. There's a lot of people I know, there's probably people that are like to move to Ferrysburg, but they can't afford the cost of the housing. We don't want to depreciate somebody's house just to allow somebody to buy it. So it's, again, something that might be an economic development committee might be able to take a look at and see where there's areas that we can work on that. A lot of the land is taken up for storage. So, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I kind of hit on affordable housing earlier. There is a need in Ferrysburg for affordable housing. A lot of our employees can't even afford to live in Ferrysburg. They got to live outside the city because they can't afford our house values. So there is a need. We need to create affordable housing to attract new people, new families into our community, and to give younger people an opportunity to purchase a starting home and move up. It's the American dream, and we need to do what we can to provide that. And like I said before, if it's rezoning for tiny homes, or if it's some people call it granny pads that some folks put on apartments on the back of their homes, if it's additional dwelling units in their yards, there's all kinds of creative ideas that we can look into for creating affordable housing. And I think we really need to work with the brownfield development and developers and the chamber to get developers interested into expanding and building in Ferrysburg. We can do that through tax incentives and other ways. So I definitely think there is a need for affordable housing.
Well, Jeremy and Tim have teed off on a number of the key points with housing. Is there a lack of housing in Ottawa County? Certainly, there is a huge problem. Is there a barrier to entry for people that are renting to be able to purchase homes? Yes. We've looked at, the Planning Commission is looking at a number of things, bouncing all ideas off the master plan, which is the long-range ideas about what the city could be. One of the things the city is looking at from an economic development standpoint is, hey, do we want to change zoning down on Pine Street, along where Pine Street Restaurant is, and the old Kent Bank and Johnson Boiler and all that, change that so that we could allow 2, 3, 4-story buildings with retail down below and housing units upstairs. Is that something that, from a zoning standpoint, we could change laws to make that? You know, the city isn't going to get into the development business, but we can go in and, with zoning laws, change what the makeup is going to be 10, 20, 30 years down the road. The other thing we've looked at is Gary Post and I, the chair of the Planning Commission, we've been working with the Ottawa County Office of Strategic Development, I believe is what it's called. And we're looking at what can we do to encourage small footprint homes. Everybody talks about tiny homes or whatever, glorified travel trailers. When we're talking about a tiny, small footprint is the term. I'm sorry about reaching out for help, or what do they call that? Anyway, small footprint home, 1,000 square feet, 1,200 square feet. Somebody that's working for a living, workforce housing, maybe you've heard. There's opportunities for that where we can lower minimum lot sizes. We can say, hey, you don't have to have a garage, you could have outside storage potentially instead of a garage. There's many, many things we can do to encourage development. And that housing solution on Pine Street or whatever with retail down below would create housing upstairs, so it creates, solve two problems with one stroke.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay. All right, so this one's gonna go to Jerry. Is it important that the local government be inclusive of diverse people within the city? And if so, how should it be done on a practical level?
Oh, definitely. I definitely feel we need to be inclusive. We need to involve all races and all people to our community, and we need to make them feel like they're appreciated and they're wanted. There's no reason we look away from those in dire need. We need to reach out a hand to those and help them out and help lift them up in this world. And I think that we have a unique opportunity in Ferrysburg with the people that live there to do this. I believe most people in Ferrysburg are good-hearted people who believe in exclusiveness and believe that everybody deserves a fair chance. How do we do that? Well, there's several ways, and I think Grand Haven has really done a great job at it. They have a Hispanic festival, they have a Pride festival, they have all different types of events and entertainment for different inclusive folks. So yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to look at different ways to attract different people to our city and make them feel welcome.
Ferrysburg is a welcoming, inclusive community. Unfortunately, not everybody can live here because it's too expensive. Is that a form of redlining? No, it's not. It's just a fact of life. People want to live by water. But one of the things we're trying to do, based upon what we've learned from the citizens in the master plan, is to try to get more workforce housings here in town. Where I grew up in Petoskey area, people that work in downtown Petoskey, like in the restaurants or bars or whatever, they can't afford to live in the city of Petoskey, just like the people that are servers here can't afford to live here. They can't even live in the county where Petoskey is. They all come from Sheboygan or Gaylord or whatever. We're trying to do it. What can we do to encourage so that we've got workers that can afford to live here and create zoning opportunities so that developers can come in and help solve the housing crisis. And that makes our community more bright and vibrant because we're bringing everyone in. Right now, it's like we can't because of the financial nature of the city.
Good answer. You stole my answers, I got to put some of those. Inclusiveness, there should never be discrimination based on anything. Race, religion, whatever. It's wrong. It's illegal. We should encourage anybody that has the qualifications to come here and apply for the jobs. I've not heard of anybody that has applied for a job in the city been denied because of something they believed in or who they were or the race or whatever. We're a very welcoming committee. We're a very welcoming city. And that's what I love about Ferrysburg. Ferrysburg is a very friendly city, very helpful city, and the main thing that we need to is affordable housing. And I think once time we get that solved, that'll help with it. But we also I just want to do a caveat on this, is we don't want to go so far as to deny those that are qualified to do the jobs to be denied a job because we want to appear to be inclusive. Anybody that's qualified to do a job, come and apply.
question is, government at all levels appears to suffer from lack of civility. If elected mayor, how would you maintain the right to disagree between council members and citizens, but in a safe, civil manner?
Well, from a meeting standpoint, we have Robert's Rules of Order, which the city has historically has had periods where it's been strictly enforced and other times where it's hardly been used at all. I've been looking through some of the past mayor's emails and things through the years, and there was one that I was looking at last night to get prepared for tonight, and it was an email from Dan Ryder to City Council, which would have been, Dan was mayor when, almost 10 years ago or something, talking about the cussing and calling people names and this and that, and so it's been going on for a long time. My family up north, involved in politics, mayor, county commissioner, that type of thing, there's always people that my dad would talk about around the dinner table. That was somebody that was always poking at you if you're a politician. It's that way everywhere, so I don't think Ferrysburg is any different. Robert's Rules of Order is a fantastic tool because of the fact that it allows the minority to have a voice. Okay, that doesn't mean the majority is always going to get their way, but the minority at least has a voice that can be heard. And of course, all of us as citizens can utilize the time of open public comment in meetings so that we can have our voices heard.
Could you repeat the question?
Yes, the question is, if elected mayor, how would you maintain the right to disagree between council members and citizens, but in a safe, civil manner?
Debate has always been a partial of government. Debate and discussion is what formed this government. That's why we are a democracy. When I was on council, I listened to everybody that came up, even if I knew that person was going to throw an insult at me. There's only been, in the 10 years that I've been involved in council, only one person that was thrown out because they were excessive in their abusive language. And so it really is very rare. We pretty much tolerate people are, the U.S. Constitution guarantees the freedom of speech. As long as you're not abusive, speak your mind. I have no problem with that. I took an oath to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. That oath stays with me until I die, and that's what I intend to do.
Well, I believe that everybody has a voice, and every voice matters. That doesn't mean that we can always agree with each other and be on the same side. And I think that we do a pretty decent job in Ferrysburg of playing a neutral role in politics and finding a way to try to please everybody. There are some instances where people felt they weren't heard, but they were heard. We did listen. They just didn't like the outcome. And sometimes that happens, and that's unfortunate. But that is politics. Not everybody can always win. Sometimes there has to be somebody who's going to be on the losing side of politics. And that is unfortunate, and it's hard as a politician to stand your ground and do what's right for the city, and yet what might not be right for my neighbor. That's a difficult situation to be in. But I think we do a pretty good job on council, understanding folks and listening to folks and their concerns and bringing their issues to light. Thank you.
Yep. So the next question is going to go to Tim. Yep. And you all have touched on this a wee bit. This was a very specific question I thought I would ask you. If the boiler factory moved tomorrow and gave its property to the city, what would you do with it?
Whose idea
Besides
was
build your
that?
own private home on it. You can't build your own home on it.
That is probably, that is a very tough question. First off, I'd be extremely upset if they left. There's a lot of ships out there that have boilers in them, and every boiler that comes out, there says Ferrysburg on it. Ferrysburg, the city of Ferrysburg is everywhere around the world, whether it be in a building, whether it be one of the ships. The people that build those boilers are hard workers, and it scared the heck out of me when I saw the fire header from that. But the way they recovered from the fire they had was very remarkable. And first off, I would do everything I can to keep them. That would be my first point. Second of all, if they finally decided for some reason to close up shop and move for some greener pasture for them, more power to them. But I would like to see that as rolled into the economic development for our core commercial area. And there's a lot of stuff we can do with that. They used to build ships down there. Who knows? Maybe it's on with shipping or some other water trade. But again, and also in the future, any economic development in the core commercial area, they should be included in that. And there's lots of stuff they can do.
To be honest with you, it's been a long time dream of mine to see Johnson Boilers move. Honestly, I believe that property is crucial to creating a downtown district in Ferrysburg. I believe that property would be better used with restaurants and boutiques and shops that can be used by the citizens and bring amenities to our community. I believe that we could do something like on the corner of Jackson Street. I kind of like that, where they have shops on the bottom and condos up on top on the waterfront. I would really love to open that waterfront up to the city and to the citizens of the city, and possibly put a small marina out there where citizens could park their boats and go to dinner, whatever. But I think that is a crucial part of our downtown development, that part of that piece of property.
That's a very interesting question, Mr. Cook, about Johnson Boiler.
I didn't say who wrote that.
I didn't volunteer. Water access like that is such a tremendous asset to the community that I would, if it was given to the city, I would certainly want the city to hang on to it. Okay. I could see something happening like what happened in Charlevoix. If anyone has been through Charlevoix in the last 10 years, there used to be retail on both sides. They slowly went through and bought everything that was on the water side, except for one or two retail buildings. And other than that, it's all park. It's all park. Unfortunately, there's not enough, the river isn't wide enough between William Ferry Park and Johnson Boiler, I don't believe, and the brewery across the river. I don't know if they allow feeder docks in there. But I do think that should be a community asset.
It would be on the wall.
On the wall, yeah. I could see boat backing on the wall, like Jerry is saying, and have that be public access, and then do some development on the other side, allowing development with zoning, so you have retail downstairs, and then, or dining or whatever, and then upstairs have housing. So I could see that. That would be a tremendous opportunity. I should say, since I still have time, I don't have the red card yet, like I'm playing soccer. And that is, I could see, I lost my train of thought.
Happens to me all the time. It's age, man. It's age.
All right, Jerry, it stays with our last. Oh,
Is it the battery maybe?
who knows?
That's the
But
one.
you just have, well, it's still working, so let's play with it as long as we can, because we know this one doesn't come into this. It says kids on the mic, I'm thinking it goes to a different room. Somebody was hearing me shout. Anyway, this will be the last question from public questions, and then, we'll have closing comments, okay? So Ferrysburg joined the city of Grand Haven and Grand Haven Township in funding a study and report creating an energy plan. The plan's stated goals are to reduce carbon emission and wasted energy by increasing efficiency and transitioning from oil and gas to electricity wherever possible. Do you support this plan? Maybe not all of it. If not, what parts do you support and why or why not?
Oh, 100% I support this plan. I backed this plan since its conception. I believe that our city, actually in the Tri-Cities, leads the way in energy efficiency. We were the first ones to have solar panels on our city hall. We were the first ones to put in energy efficient lights in our streets. We've done a lot of things to be the first when it comes to energy efficiency. I think we've got a long way to go. I would soon like to see some kind of fund to support retrofitting citizens' houses and housing with solar panels. Create a fund where a citizen can borrow money out of it interest-free and then pay it back gradually, yearly through their taxes. I would like to see a program like that set up. And I just appreciate all the work that they have done to bring energy efficiency to our city. Gary Post and Ryan and tons of others that did a lot of work, and even Will Montgomery in City Council, he played a big role in it as well. So, but I think we got a long way to go, but we're off to a good start.
Jerry, you hit on a lot of the key points. City of Ferrysburg, we put solar on the roof. I think, well, all three of us have been on city council, we put solar on the roof. We've got LED lighting throughout the building, LED lighting around the city. We're doing a lot of things already right, even before we started with this community energy survey. The whole idea for that, of course, was to reduce our carbon footprint. There's a few key things that going forward we're going to be doing first, and that is the city is pushing so that we can get on-bill financing through the BLP or whatever utility you happen to have, so that you can do some energy upgrades in your home, income dependent, and that would allow you to finance that on your utility bill, so you don't have to come up with the cash to do that right at once, with the idea being for energy savings to reduce your carbon footprint. Then the other thing, of course, is to control the amount of I'm done. I lost my Go ahead.
All right.
I'm just thinking about what Jerry said, and I want to step on his toes.
All right, we'll bring it back to Tim. Tim
That's
gets the
right.
answer, yeah.
You still got a minute, yeah?
I know.
This is going to be probably the biggest area that the three of us disagree on. Well, I'm disagreeing with a lot of what they have to say. First off, I'm going to say I have no problem with energy conservation. I believe in it. I do it. I participate in it. But this plan they have, it was rolled out by Governor Whitmer and her energy czar several years ago when I was in Lansing. And everybody in the room told that person, no, it will not work in our community. It's going to be intrusive into our homes. It's going to cost the city hundreds of thousands of dollars in retrofitting. They want to have totally electric cars by 2035 or something around that time. You can't do it. I'm sorry. You cannot. The fire department cannot withstand having batteries run engines. They're not at this time efficient. The intrusion into our homes. No, our infrastructure can't handle it. Again, it's going to cost money. It was a good conception. company said, no, we're not gonna raise the price of natural gas, but they couldn't answer the question, well, if they do away with coal and they go to natural gas, what's gonna keep them from raising the price of natural gas? And I said, well, it's their word. No. So we need to look at it a lot more in depth before we do anything with this energy plan. And that's one of the things that going to Lansing, again, like it was presented this years ago. And I looked at it, it looked great on paper, Cliff Notes looked great, but when you dig into it, it's too intrusive, too costly to the residents of the city.
Thank you. All right, we will now go into closing comments. You have 2 minutes to make closing remarks, and Richard will begin with you.
Very good. I'll start off with the community energy survey real quick. That is that I can certainly understand what Mr. Donald was talking about the overreach and everything else. At first, I wasn't really that supportive of this because I'm not somebody that is a true believer in the fact that carbon in the atmosphere is a bad thing. But I do maintain that we need to do we can glean some nuggets out of the community energy survey that are going to save people money rather than cost us a lot of money. Because if you take it to the extreme, if you follow the thing all the way to fruition, yes, it's gonna really kill us. But there are certain nuggets in there that can be gleaned out of the energy survey. So we're starting off potentially with the on-bill financing for energy improvements, and potentially they're looking at, hey, can we get a grant to get somebody in here so that it's shared between all the local municipalities to be able to educate people better as to some of the services that are available. And so that's what we're looking at doing. So in conclusion, you've kind of gotten to know me a little bit through some of my laughs and things, but I'm Richard Carlson, been here for 12 years. I've tried to do my best as mayor. It's a learning experience. It's interesting developing all the relationships and everything, but budget-wise, we're doing great for the city. I've got 3 city council members out of the 7 that signed my petitions that are in support of my running. This is all about leadership, okay? And in terms of who does the city council want to be led by? That's one of the big cruxes of the situation, as well as all the chairs of all our boards and commissions. Who do they want to see in leadership? So that's what the question is.
Okay. Well, in conclusion, I would just like to say that I was born and raised here in Ferrysburg, and I believe that I have a unique sense of the history and the mentality of the residents of Ferrysburg. I believe I understand Ferrysburg better than any other member here and my opponents. I believe that everybody's voice matters and everybody deserves a say in how our city is run. I believe in diversity, and I believe in bringing people together, not separating. I want to deal with everybody's issues the same because I believe everybody's issues are important because everybody has their own issues, and to that person, that issue is the most important issue of all. So I believe that everybody's issues matter. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to thank you, Gail, for the invitation. I'm Joyce, rest of the England voters. Just a quick bio on me. I'm married, 3 stepchildren, 6 grandchildren, 20-year resident of Ferrysburg, 44 years of public service as a police officer, firefighter, and EMS. I'm currently on the city of Ferrysburg Fire Department as a fire lieutenant. Just retired from the Coast Guard, City Council, and I've had leadership positions in everything that I've done. I've been through multiple leadership training through the different organizations I've been with, and I like to continue my public service as mayor. It's nothing that I have to do. I had to twist my wife's arm to let me do it, but I do got her support. She's my #1 supporter. I've been working with these guys. We've had a lot of disagreements, a lot of fun working together, I think, over the years. Again, like Terry says, everybody matters. I want everybody, if you have a problem on this, my literature, you got my email, you got my phone number, give me a call. Text me. Let me know what concern you got. I want to talk to you. I want to deal with your problem. The other thing is, I'm not part of any special interest group. My special interest group, or my special interest is you as a resident of Ferrysburg. So, again, thank you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm here. Even if I don't get elected mayor, I can still go to one of these guys and say, hey, I heard this problem, we need to talk.
So this concludes the formal part of the forum tonight. Remember to vote on Tuesday, August 25th. You can vote that day or hit your absentee ballot before that and have it returned. We do have to vacate the room no later than 8:30.
What was the date?
August, oh, did I say 25th? I was reading 2025. How about August 5? Thank you, thank you. We do have to vacate the room by 8:30 or before, but that gives you time. The candidates are all at the table. Please help yourself. Please go back there. We have candy and water, so we'll bribe you to stay. But anyway, please go back, ask them any questions you want to ask them, and meet individually with them. Thank you again. I hope you all got educated tonight, and will go to the ballots and vote more educated than before. Thank you.